Hello everyone, today I'll be taking you to the interview preparation process, how to be a better version of yourself, the pitfalls that you'll be coming across during the interview preparation and how to overcome the same, and also how to score 190 plus in the interview. So it's been close to a month since the mains exam has got over. Interview results are expected in the month of December, and most likely the interview would be starting from the month of Feb. So all in all, you have roughly around 3.5 months for the interview to kickstart, and most importantly, this time the number of students would be called for the interview would be more compared to any of the years, because the number of vacancies are close to 1100. So 1:3, so 3300 to 3500 students would be called. So this is one golden opportunity that you must utilize to the fullest. Having said that, getting selected is one thing, and getting a rank from here on is a different ball game altogether, right? So you must understand that this interview phase is a very important and critical phase in your UPSC journey, because this can make or break your career in civil services. It decides the rank that you get, it decides the service that you can get, or even the cadre that you are allocated for, and also it can decide whether you should be giving the next attempt or not. So many things are involved in this process, and it is time that you take it sincerely, just like the prelims or mains, because see, here you feel that you're so close to getting a rank, but still you are so far, right? So that is the feeling that you are in, because there can be many slips between the cup and your lips, right? So because 1/3 of the people get selected, but still 2/3 people are not. So that is the reason you have to take it more sincerely, just like the prelims or mains exam. And last year, if you look at the scores, there were 12 to 13 students who had scored about 200. So when you compare it to the previous years, this is one of the lowest in terms of people scoring about 200. And the question here is whether the UPSC has changed the marking parameters, or whether UPSC is looking at something unique, or should you change the strategy accordingly, or your preparation style. All that I would like to say here is just be yourself. The qualities that they are checking would still remain the same, be it your mental alertness, be it your balance of judgment, your reasoning, your expression, or your values like honesty, integrity, leadership, right? That would still remain the same. The problem here is there are 3 mistakes that a student does. One is the fake aura that is created over the interview preparation process itself. Because it starts off right from your body language, the way you stand, the way you sit, the way you walk, the way you wish, all that. What happened recently, in my experience of last 10 years, I've interacted with thousands of students, interview students, and one story I would like to narrate here. One of them had even hired a psychologist just to tell him that whether his expressions, his body language, is it right, or his frame of mind is right when answering. And the psychiatrist had advised him that you need to always be positive when you answer whatever the question may be, and also you need to smile, and you need to sit in a certain posture. So these were the suggestions given to him, and he did try it, and it completely backfired, and he got around 130s that interview, right? And because there was one question that he narrated to me. It was on startups. The question was on challenges on that startups in India face, and he rather started saying about the opportunities and the advantages that the startups in India has. So in fact, it completely misfired. You have to be positive, but that doesn't mean that you have to deviate from the demand of the question. Clear? And the other student was advised to smile, so he started smiling for every question that was asked. And the question was on child labor, and if you smile and answer that question, how does it even it doesn't connect at all, right? So child labor is not something that you have to smile and tell, right? Child labor is something grave that India as a country is facing, and you need to overcome that. So your expressions, your emotions should sync with the gravity of the situation and the demand of the question. So it is not necessary that you keep smiling all the while throughout the interview. So it depends on the situation as well, right? That is what you need to understand. And the second thing is, what I have come across is students are still in the mains phase. So there's a difference between interview and mains phase that you need to understand. See, mains is all about collecting information, making note of it, all that. But interview is processing that information that you have already collected. you need to sit back and instead of going to the micro level, take themes like education, health, environment versus development. These are evergreen issues, right? Or even women for that matter, or security for that matter, and try to see the overall issues per se, that 5 issues that education sector as a whole is facing, be it at the primary level or at the secondary level or at the tertiary level. So what are the issues faced, and any recent policies? For example, in education sector, NEP was introduced. So national education policy, you need to know that. You need to know 10 or 5 critical points on NEP, and also if you want to make a change in that policy, what is that one change that you want to bring in? So you need to think on those lines, and you need to compare our system with the other developed countries' system, right? So that is how the preparation should happen. Instead of rushing through things, instead of making notes and mugging up, right, that will not help you at all, right? You need to have clarity in your thoughts. So everything boils down to your thought process itself. And the third thing is, the students are becoming very mechanic in their answers, and easily the board members will get to know with their experience that you have come from some particular coaching, or somebody has told you to answer in such a way, right? So this is very mechanic, and you, with that, what happens is you lose your natural self, the rawness in you. Clear? So this is what is happening with the current bunch of students. You're losing your natural self, and it's not always that you have to toe the line of the government. You need to understand the issues at hand. You need to see the values that are in place, and accordingly you should take the decision, right, which is more constitutionally right. And also the other mistake students do is they take too many mocks. See, the number of mocks that you have to take depends on your confidence level and your comfortability level. The moment you feel that you're comfortable talking to the elders, sitting on the other side, right, without any fear, that is the time you need to stop. So, but I've seen people who take interview only for their optional, only for their state, all that, right? You're trying to put in a lot of pressure on yourself, right? And instead of that, you need to actually enjoy the process, but it is happening the other way around. In fact, in our days, right, there used to be hardly any mock interviews. Even if it is done, I had taken on just one mock interview and directly had been to the actual UPSC interview, and still we were able to get 185 plus. So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't completely become like a robot, don't mechanize your preparation. Instead of that, enjoy the preparation process itself. So considering all these issues and the practical problems that a student faces in his or her journey, and since I was also a student like you and I've been through that process, right, considering all this, we have come up with the most comprehensive program that is known as Interview Mentorship Program, IMP 2022. And I think by now most of you would know about this program, especially with people who are preparing for interview, and the feedback and the testimonials that we have got on the same speaks volumes of the program. So this time what I've done is, I have divided this into 2 phases, keeping this 3.5 months in mind. One is till the interview results are announced, and from the interview results till the interview commencement, right? So that is how it is divided. It is structured in 5 phases, or you can say call it as 5 fundamentals on which this entire program is based. Also, I would strongly advise you not to spend more than 4 hours till the interview results are announced, because it will be just a waste of time. And when you have more time, you'll be reading about things which is unwanted. So that is the reason. Don't spend more than 4 hours. It can be your current affairs, it can be your DAF based, it can be interview transcripts, or you can pursue a hobby, or if you want to develop a new hobby, you can do that, or you can read a book for that matter, but let it not be more than 4 hours per day, because the remaining 4 hours you can spend on your prelims or mains or your optional preparation. Clear? So always try to be practical. And once the interview results are announced, then you can go full-fledged into the interview process. So that is how you need to plan your things. And so what we do in the first phase is, firstly we create Telegram groups wherein I'll be available, and my other students who have got very good marks in the interview, the previous toppers and people who are in service who have retired, so all of them will be there to guide you in this Telegram group. And apart from that, we start off initially with mentor monitored discussions. And so it is divided into it's a 5-phase structure, or you can call it as 5 fundamentals. So the first fundamental is based on mentor monitored discussions. So there'll be at least 2 discussions in a week, and these discussions are again divided into 2 parts. One is current affairs, and the other one is reality check questions. So in current affairs, again it will be divided into themes, and you must understand that the prelims, the way you prepare for current affairs for prelims and mains is different from the way or your orientation in the interview. So that is what will be focused. And also in the second part, that is reality check questions, there will be questions asked and you have to think on the spot and you have to deliver the answer. So this will help you in developing your own thought process and also how to answer in a pressure kind of situation. So that is what we'll be focusing on in the mentor monitor discussions. And this mentor monitor discussions will be presided by myself. I'll be the moderator, or the other senior mentors in our team, or the toppers again, or the serving or retired bureaucrats. So that is how the mentor monitor discussions will happen. And secondly, we'll also be helping you to how to fill the DAF, or if you have any queries with the DAF, or how to read transcripts, right? So these are the other two things that will be focusing in the first phase, that is till the results are announced. After that, it will go more intensive where DAF sessions will be held, and also along with me, the other bureaucrats will help you in how to fill the DAF form, especially when it comes to service allocation and cadre allocation, which becomes so important, and also your hobbies and extracurricular activities. So inputs will be given from every angle to you. So it will be more comprehensive here. And soon after the DAF sessions, you will have the most important feature of this program, that is one-to-one mentorship, wherein will spend hours together with me, where I'll be focusing mainly on developing a structure or developing your thought process. Because it is said that you have to always toe the lines of the government. It need not necessarily be the same, right? You need to understand the values that are ingrained, the constitution that is there. So based on that, you need to take a call rather than siding the government at all times. You don't have to be extreme, but I'll teach you more how to be assertive in your answers. So that is what, and this will help you not only answering the normal current affairs question, but any open-ended abstract based questions. Like it can be like, do you think India is a poor country, right? You would not even have thought of it, right? Or any situation based questions wherein like you are the DC of the district, so and so happens, how would you take a call? So it can vary from, every kind of questions, right, will be asked, and I'll be training you on that. So that is what will happen in one-to-one mocks, along with the DAF based questions. And also we'll prepare a DAF questionnaire, around 200-300 questions based on your DAF. So you can take the feedback from people who have cleared as well. You can check the comprehensivity of our DAF, IASbaba's DAF questionnaire. So that gives you a lot of angles in which you can prepare for. And the other important feature is the open mocks, wherein there'll be learnings through the observation, wherein we'll also ask a few members to sit in the panel so that you can also understand what would be the thought process of the person who is asking questions, and also the mistakes that a student does. So when you are in the audience, you will also understand from the third man's perspective the kind of questions that are being asked, the kind of answers that a student gives. So that is the reason after the mocks, that open mocks also, we give you that recorded videos, because when you are sitting as a third person, you will observe things much better. You'll know whether your body language was right, whether you are speaking confidently, or you could have structured that answer much better, right? So these are the advantages of open mocks. And finally, we'll wind up with mock interviews, because having said all this, you should also understand that going in front of the senior members and speaking, that is a different ball game altogether. Not everybody are comfortable, right? Because when you sit, there are 5 members in front of you, and each of them have at least 28-30 years of experience. So 30 into 5 is 150 years of experience. So in front of them we will be sitting. So we'll have mock interviews where we have people from good backgrounds, be it the retired IAS, IPS, IFS officers, or well-renowned personalities who will come and take the interview. We'll ask you questions from every angle, so that you'll have that real life experience or actual experience of an actual interview. So this is what will happen in mock interviews, because see, there are students who are comfortable speaking with their friends, but once they go in front of the senior members, they start mumbling, right? So this fear has to be removed. So for that, we have open mocks also. This is how the 5 stages of this interview program is structured. And before I wind up, I want to tell you that not everybody gets this opportunity. You are just a chosen few, and you need to cherish this. You need to experience and enjoy this particular phase, because this is one phase where you will be knowing about yourself much better than all these years that you knew yourself, right? And which exam will give you that opportunity to know yourself so much better from the kind of upbringing, the place you are born, your graduation, your extracurricular activities, your interests, right, your job, etc., etc., right? So this exam not only gives you that opportunity, but also places you in that well coveted job to serve the country, right? So understand the importance of it, the gravity of it. All the best, and Jai Hind. Thank you.